What's up, everybody? It's Rob here from WD Games, back at you with another discussion topic. Today, I want to talk to you about my favorite gaming franchises of all time. Now, this is a personal favorite list. This is not a best. This has nothing to do with the best gaming franchises at all. For those of you watching on the Minecraft side, we have neglected our food source very badly, and we just basically don't have a good source of food at all. So I'm eating the little bit of kelp that I have. I'm not eating all of it, but I am trying to get satiated so I can go down in the strip mines. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, I'll have enough iron that I can do that. I can just have a full set of armor, and then I can start having pickaxes. I can actually make iron tools and everything. And yeah, but anyways, enough about Minecraft. This is not about that. My 5 favorite gaming franchises of all time. Again, this is 100% based off of my nostalgia, the importance of these franchises to me as a person, and my enjoyment of these franchises when they came out, which a lot of these you'll notice are childhood games. Because at the end of the day, and I think everybody can agree with this, if we don't like games as a child, we're never going to we would have never liked video games to begin with. So, yeah. So we'll start with number 5. Number 5 is The Last of Us. It's only a 2-game series, and I don't know if they ever plan to do a third. I haven't done enough research to give you that answer. But The Last of Us, as a storyline series, as a story-based game, is probably, I don't know if I would say it's my favorite, but it is definitely in my top something as favorite story-based game. Not when I say something, I mean it's top something. It's really close to the top. It might be top 1, it might be top 2. It's amazing. Now being a parent, it's even more amazing. Just seeing the relationship develop between Joel and Ellie throughout the course of the games, seeing Ellie grow as a person, seeing the survival aspect of everything, and what it takes. Obviously it's a fantasy world, but what it takes to survive in a desperate situation. On top of being sent on missions, and they actually have a job in this world that they are given, and it's just truly an incredible series. If you haven't played it, the first game's not even that long. It's 10 hours to beat. It doesn't take long at all. The second game is much longer, and honestly, a lot of people don't like the second game. I do. I actually think in a lot of ways it's better than the first game. And also, if you haven't seen the HBO series, go watch it. It's one of the best shows on HBO for a 1-season show. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. The Last of Us is one of the greatest story-based games of all time. Number 4 is Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is important to me for several reasons. Wow, there's a lot of iron here and a lot of scary. Hold on, let me get my bearings. Let's see what's going on here. Anyways, Final Fantasy is very important to me for several different reasons. But the actual the introduction of turn-based RPGs for me is the main thing that drives me to love Final Fantasy so much. It's I knew that was coming. I saw the water dripping. But it is absolutely the definitive turn-based RPG, if you ask me. It's what makes that style of game, that genre. It's what makes that genre, and it's what makes it, all the knockoffs, they're not knockoffs, but all the the Kingdom Hearts and anything else that comes out of that. Not even Kingdom Hearts is basically directly related to Final Fantasy, but even just the the similar games that came out of it. It's all based on Final Fantasy. Like that's what started all of this, and it's been out since the NES, and it's incredible. It's absolutely amazing. My favorites in the series, honestly, Final Fantasy IX's been my favorite forever. Final Fantasy VII's amazing too. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's overrated. No, it's an amazing game. Like it's absolutely incredible. But 9 has been my favorite for a very long time. But the most recent game, 16, I think it's 16. 16. The most recent game was amazing. Like it is. It might be my favorite. I don't want to say it's my favorite because then y'all are gonna say it's recency biased, and I'm just going off of what I've played the most recent, and that's why I like it so much. But it is the storyline, the gameplay. It's beautiful, like the animations. It's incredible. I really really enjoy Final Fantasy 16. If you haven't checked it out, it's definitely worth the purchase. If you like turn-based RPGs at all, it's worth your time. Really. Next on the list is number 3. Number 3 is God of War. God of War to me, wow. To me, God of War is like in the same light as The Last of Us. It's a story-based game, but God of War to me is more of a game than The Last of Us, if that makes sense. Like it's got similar similar elements to it, but it's definitely more to it as far as the actual gameplay and the combat and all of that. It's definitely more difficult, if that makes sense. So while The Last of Us to me is a lot better story, first of all, God of War has more games, and second of all, the first God of War game on PS4 might be one of the best games ever made. Like that game is so good. It's not the first one ever, but the first one on PS4. It's such a great game. It is like it beat out Red Dead Redemption and what was the other one? It wasn't Breath of the Wild because it won Game of the Year, but it beat out 2 like amazing games for Game of the Year that year. And it absolutely deserved it. It was the best game I've seen in a very long time. So props to them. But yeah, God of War again. Like I obviously have a soft spot for this, but the father-son element, the coming of age element, the kid learning his way, and now being able to see my son. I have 2 boys, but my first son is getting old enough now that he's like starting to figure things out about like real life, and I can just see those elements built into excuse me, the elements that like he's literally struggling to figure out how life works, and that's what makes me so happy about God of War as well as The Last of Us, but God of War more so because it's a father-son. That's what I have. I have 2 boys, so yeah, I mean it's just it's an amazing game. I mean it's if you haven't played it, if you haven't played any of them, go play them. They're amazing. They're so good. Number 2, the top 2, you're gonna call me very basic. You're gonna make fun of me and say that I'm boring. But this is my list, and if you don't like it, sorry. Number 2 is Pokemon. For a couple reasons. But the main reason being that if it wasn't for Pokemon being a franchise, I wouldn't have the job that I have right now. Like my job for the past 4 years has been owning a retail store that sells Pokemon cards. Like we've been in a local game store. We've recently shut the store down, hence the birth of this YouTube channel. But recently the store was shut down and we became an online-only business, which has been amazing, by the way. It's truly, like, game-changing for my life, personally. But, with that being said, it's exactly what I, like, it's it's exactly why I've been able to do what I do, because Pokemon since day one has been my number one revenue source in my business. But aside from that, like, I chose my career because I love games and I love Pokemon. Like, that's literally why I chose to do what I do, is because of my love for the franchises and what was going on within those franchises. Like, that's my motivation for everything that I do. And Pokemon, the first game that I ever really played as a kid was Pokemon Red. Like, I played other games. You know, I played the Zelda games on Game Boy. But my first console, like, was a Game Boy Color. And, I mean, yeah, it was a Game Boy Color, but Pokemon Red, I mean, Pokemon whatever, everything but Red. I mean, Gold and Silver had not come out yet. So, Red and Blue was what I had to play, and Yellow. So I played Blue. I had a copy of Red and a copy of Yellow that I played basically all the time, and that's what I did. So I have a definite soft spot for Pokemon as a franchise because of a childhood and because of everything that I've learned, you know, over the years and with video games. And that's literally what Pokemon has done for me, is teach me everything that I've ever need to know about life, about video games. It's made a career choice for me. Like, Pokemon's everything. So yeah, if you make fun of me for liking Pokemon, then screw you. That's all I can tell you. What else can I say about Pokemon? I mean, I don't want to, like, downsell how much I love this franchise. Like, and like I said, it's not necessarily the gameplay. It's not necessarily that these are my favorite games ever. It's the fact that these games taught me to be who I am today in a weird kind of way. Like, it's why I love everything that I love. It's Pokemon's everything. I can't emphasize it enough. It's literally everything to me. So with that being said, number one on my list is The Legend of Zelda. Nothing can touch Zelda. It's not so, like, when I have this, like, love note to Pokemon for basically teaching me everything about gaming and, you know, everything, that's different than my love for Zelda, in the sense that it's different than my love for Zelda in the sense that every Zelda game I've ever played is objectively one of my favorite games of all time. Like, that's where I go with Zelda. Is just, like, it's literally a game that I love because of the games itself. Like, when is the last time they made a bad Zelda game? Like, be real with me. When is the last time you played a Zelda game and you were like, this game sucks? Like, come on. It doesn't happen. I don't know that there's ever been a bad Zelda game ever. So yeah, that's where I am with Zelda. It's truly, in my opinion, the greatest video game franchise ever created. There's no name another franchise that has as many, you know, Game of the Year contenders, all-timer contenders. Like, there's no other franchise that can even come close. Like, every single game they release is an absolute banger. If it doesn't win Game of the Year, it probably should have. Like, it's just because it's Nintendo doesn't mean that it's not a great game. Like, people that hate on Nintendo, you know, they might say, oh, you know, Power World. Like, all right, let me not get started on Power World again. But you know what I mean? Like, it's very different. Like, it's the way Zelda is insane. how like just how they can consistently make perfect games, like damn near perfect games, over and over and over, and it just never gets old. Like it's truly amazing how that's even possible. And with that being said, that's why The Legend of Zelda is number one on my list. For no other reason. It's for, in my opinion, with Zelda, it's for objective reasons. It's not for, nostalgia. It's not for, because it was when I was a kid. I didn't even really start playing Zelda until, like, the past 10 years. I've played them. Like, I've played them, but I haven't played them, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't gone through all the games and beat them until recently. With that being said, Ocarina of Time was amazing as a kid. I never beat it, though. I never beat any of them until recently. The only one that I played all the way through was the ones on Game Boy Advance. Those were the first ones that I actually played through, but those aren't as difficult and not as, like, intense as some of the newer ones. So, to me, objectively speaking, The Legend of Zelda is the greatest gaming franchise ever. Like, it just is. It's so good. It's amazing. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. But with all that being said, this has been Rob from WD Games, and that's all I got to say for today. So I am going to sign out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.